Hi, how you doing? Justin Sandico here. Welcome to BC-103. Make sure I get that right by looking down here. What I'm going to talk about in this lesson is some accessories that you'll probably find really useful if you're going to do my beginner's course. I just want to talk a little bit about them so you kind of know what to look for when you go to the shop. The first thing I want to talk about is plectrums. Now, the most important thing to look for when you're a beginner guitar player, if you don't really know what you want, is to get yourself a very, very thin plectrum. I would recommend the Jim Dunlop USA Nylon 0.46mm pick. They're white, very, very thin. Should be a little picture just here showing you what they look like. That's the one I'd recommend that you start off with. If you want to get, when later on in the course we start doing some scales and stuff and playing some single lines, single notes, you might want to get a slightly thicker pick. I recommend these orange Dunlop picks, tortoise, something like that they're called. Yeah, really good picks, slightly thicker, good texture, easy to grip. If you're just playing electric guitar, I tend to use a thicker pick, a Jim Dunlop again, a Jazz 3. Nearly everyone I know uses the same pick, these little Jazz 3s, I really like them. But the type of pick and the brand that you buy is really your choice. You don't have to buy a Jim Dunlop, buy whatever brand you want. Fender make good picks. I mean, it really doesn't make any difference, just find one that you like. So, that's the first thing. Second thing, I highly recommend that you get yourself a guitar strap. Why? Because I know where your guitar falling off. Especially if you're going to stand up, you need to buy a strap, right? There's no way around it if you're going to stand up. But if you're sitting down as well, it can stop you kind of trying to grip the guitar in a funny way and altering your posture in an, to kind of makes it awkward if you're trying to hold your guitar all the time. So getting a strap so that it's kind of just almost tight on you when you're sitting down is a good way to do it. So I try and think of my guitar being the same sitting down as when I'm standing up. I think that's a good kind of practice to get into, but getting a strap's quite a good idea. Doesn't matter the type of strap you get. If you've got a heavy guitar like a Les Paul type guitar, electric guitar, then you probably want to get a padded strap, because maybe I'm just a big wussy, but my shoulder gets really sore when I play with my Les Paul. So I've got an extra big thick padded strap for that guitar. Anyway, next really important thing that you need to get is a metronome. Now the metronome I use is called a Korg MA30. Again, don't have a deal with Korg, it's a really good metronome. All my students have it. It's got quite a lot of features that are kind of more advanced that you're not going to use straight away as a beginner, but it's just good, right? So I'd go and check that out, and not particularly expensive either, but it doesn't really matter. Just I wouldn't advise that you buy a tick-tock one. You know, those tick-tock tick that you see sitting on piano teachers' desks. Don't get one of them. Just silly idea. They really, you can only choose certain speeds and stuff. Just generally a bad idea. Okay, guitar tuner. Now I use a really big Peterson strobe tuner, right? And they're quite expensive. Really would be over the top if you're a beginner guitar player to get one of those. The Korg MA30 metronome has a guitar tuner which looks exactly the same, except it's silver, I think, and works as a fine tuner. I do recommend getting an electronic tuner, because if your guitar's in tune it sounds nicer, which is a lot more inspiring when you're learning guitar. So I'd recommend getting yourself the Korg electronic tuner, but it doesn't really matter what tuner you get. If you've got oodles of money and you just want to spunk it around unnecessarily, then get yourself a Peterson strobe tuner, because they're fantastic tuners, really accurate, just too expensive in my opinion for a beginner. Anyway, Capo or Capo, I don't know how it's pronounced, I don't really care, right? I call it a Capo. Some people call it a Capo. I don't really know, I don't really care. I recommend these ones called a Kaiser Capo. Why? Because I think they're really good and I've never had one wear out or break. They just seem to last forever. They're really good. There's no little screws that you have to tighten up or anything like that. They're really easy to move positions. They're really good. They're slightly more expensive than a regular Capo, but you're only probably going to buy one in your lifetime, so unless you lose it like I do. I lose mine all the time, but that's just because I'm a bit dim when it comes to losing stuff like Capos. Anyway, either that or people nick them off me all the time. I haven't decided, maybe either one. Anyway, get yourself a capo, Kaiser capo, really good. We're going to discuss how to use a capo later on, so I'm not going to go into that now. Just good idea to get yourself one. Display folder. Get yourself some sort of book with the clear pages in it, so you can keep all your notes in. Really good idea, keeps them organised. You keep organised in a book, keeps organised in here. Don't know how that works, but it does. So that would be a really, really good thing to get going on as well. A couple of other slightly less important accessories, but I still think are really valuable. One, strap locks. If you're going to buy a strap for your guitar, get strap locks. I use a big metal thing on the end of here, which I have to kind of click off to get the strap off, and it makes a clicking noise, and it's now, the strap's never going to come off, right? It's really important because I have seen really expensive guitars, guys with posh Les Pauls or whatever, Les Pauls that have got a really fragile headstock, playing away, this strap comes off, guitar falls down like that and smacks the headstock on the floor, headstock gone, guitar worth half of what it used to be, and it'll cost you a fortune to get it replaced. So if you're going to stand up and play guitar, get yourself strap locks. I use these big metal ones which cost about £10, which I guess about $20 US or something like that. The exchange rate's going crazy at the moment, so I can't tell. But you can buy really cheap ones for like $1, of plastic ones. So again, I'll stick links up on the website, but go and check them out as well. If you can, get yourself some sort of tape recorder. Is a really, really good idea. The best thing in the world that you can have when you're learning guitar is a jam buddy, somebody to play along with that you can kind of practice songs with, and as you develop them a bit, and somebody's learned to play lead guitar, then one guy can play some rhythm, the other guy plays lead, and you can go back to back and test each other on naming chords. It's great to have a jam buddy. If you don't know anyone that's learning guitar at the same time as you, then getting yourself some sort of tape recorder is a really, really good idea. So you can record yourself, listen back. Listening back's a really good teacher, and as well, it can you can record yourself doing some rhythm guitar, and then practice doing either rhythm guitar along with it, or practicing a little lead guitar along with it. It's a really good thing to do. So just a little portable tape player, not necessary, but very useful. And last thing, music stand. A lot of people end up with back problems because they practice sitting on their bed with their music on the bed next to them, with their back twisted around like this and their neck hunched over, looking at that and then reaching over and looking at the guitar neck. Really, really good way to have to spend a whole lot of money in the chiropractor. Don't do it. Get yourself a music stand. They don't cost a lot. Stick it up in front of you. Make sure that you're not twisting your spine around all the time. It's a good idea to sit up fairly straight when you're practicing guitar. Don't be all hunchy over like this, because it will lead you to some neck and back problems if you end up practicing guitar a lot. So there you go, there's a few accessories for you. Like I said, there'll be some links to some other pages from this page on the website, with direct links and stuff to go and buy it at your local music store or whatever. Hope that's helped you with some ideas of some things that you need to buy that first time you go to the music shop, or if you've already bought your guitar, the second time you go to the music shop. Or maybe you go to the music shop all the time, so it won't be that, you know what I mean. I'll see you for another lesson sometime soon. Bye bye.